favorite coach. And we're going to talk the dream merchant, Dawn Staley.
Dawn
Quick
Staley
question.
is
Your love for the women's game come before the 96 team? I know you said that you watched Pan Am games and all of that, but was that before the hype around the 96 Olympic team? Were you watching women's basketball before that, or was it kind of with Cheryl and Rebecca and Dawn? Had you watched Teresa Edwards all of those years before? Had you seen Katrina McClain? Had you?
It was Cheryl, Rebecca, Dawn. That's who it was.
So you hadn't even really watched Cheryl Miller play?
Only on flashback type of things where I, looked at it, but not real time. No.
Okay. I remember my dad making it a point to let me know that there was a woman out there that was bad as them all. He made sure I knew who Cheryl Miller was from a very young age. There was even like a women's basketball league that was on for a minute. I remember seeing some games on tape delay as a young kid. I have to do some research on that. But Dawn, game changer. Was doing a deep dive on her and was on the. Are you familiar with the Players Tribune?
A little bit.
So it's like a place where players can write their own stories, and Dawn actually has some articles. Between 18 and 20, right into the COVID. That I found kind of interesting. So the first one was, where are all the black coaches? That was the first question she asked. And we're going to get into her career and all of that, but I think it's important to kind of understand who Dawn is. I think she's from, is it North Philly?
She's from Philly. Yes. She has a street named after her.
North Philly.
Can a lot of people say that? They have a street named after her? She has a street named after her in Philadelphia.
You know what you have to give back to get a street named after you? Do you know what you have to mean to a city where she ain't won a championship to Philadelphia? She didn't win a championship as a player.
Interesting you say that. For those in the audience that didn't know, Dawn Staley went to 3 Final Fours in a row. 90, 91, 92. She went to 1 national championship and lost to Tennessee in overtime. I do remember seeing Dawn Staley lead those teams. It was very difficult. Now we're not talking about now. In her collegiate career, she averaged 16 points and 5 rebounds. Well, 6 rebounds and almost 6 assists, shooting 46% each game. Phenomenal stats in the time where we're not talking about there was only like one player for every 4 or 5 teams that was good. There were good players on most of the college teams back in these days, so it wasn't like there was nights off in the college game at that time. So
we had some legends playing back in that time. I mean, right. I think was it Caitlin who just broke Cheryl Swoop's NCAA tourney record for most
points?
It was Caitlin. That record stood for a minute, and that was men's and women's. Now we're not, we just talking about basketball. She's a dream merchant. She describes herself as a dream merchant. She just wants to give back. She just wants to give people opportunities.
And she's doing that through the Dawn Staley Foundation, through her philanthropy.
And she's so authentically Dawn that it's infectious. It's infectious, man.
She also has a statue in Columbia, South Carolina, too.
You get the statue before you finish.
Yeah. Not many people can say you have a statue while you're alive, like and well and in your prime.
She got that contract for them 20 M's.
Hmm
20 M's.
Did,
Okay.
did did everybody know? I'm sure you knew, but I want to tell the audience a little fun fact that uh, before Dawn agreed to take the extension with the Gamecocks, did everybody know she was offered two NBA jobs?
Yeah, no interest at all.
Washington Wizards and Portland wanted Dawn Staley.
Now, she says that she doesn't want to coach in the NBA. But if Philly came calling,
Absolutely, absolutely.
if Philly came calling, I wouldn't want her to turn it down. I would selfishly want to see her go home.
That would be the
Um,
storybook ending once she
and
decides to stop.
she really has solidified herself at South Carolina, but she got that start back at Temple, right?
Right.
Um, I don't know. She's always just stayed so authentically her. I want to stay in that lane for a second, just because she's purposely black. And what I mean by that is that, like, with that, where the black coaches, black people are tired. Uh, the narratives about black people that she addresses, unapologetically black, black out loud, uh, a crusader for women's sports out loud. Every chance she gets, she's on her soapbox telling you about women's basketball and how we can help grow it. We don't see too much of that authenticity in the game. And we
hmm
definitely don't see a lot of that authenticity in coaching. I don't
hmm
think that we've seen. Let me rephrase that. I think Dawn Staley is the closest thing that we're seeing to a Pat Summit in women's basketball
hmm
than anybody else. I don't think that anybody has carried the torch like how Pat carried her torch. Uh, Pat was, for most of my life, women's basketball. If it didn't come through Pat Summit, if it didn't have a Pat Summit stamp on it, it didn't mean much.
hmm
Undefeated seasons, national championships. Um, and Dawn talks about how losing to Pat shaped her career. It made her want to be better. It made her want to be. It made her want to work hard.
As a player and a coach, let's make sure we cover that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't think that. And let's keep in mind too that when Dawn first started coaching at Temple, she was still playing in the WNBA.
hmm
Um, so she lives, eats, breathes, loves basketball, and uses it as a great platform to empower women, um, and inspire and reach back for female coaches of color.
hmm
When I heard the story about her getting that first net, right, and cutting it down and what she did with it. Did you hear the story?
Mm-mm.
So she took pieces of the net and she cut it up and she sent it to other female black coaches in college basketball so
Really?
that they could have a feel for what it was like and they could keep striving for something, right?
Wow.
And it was interesting because I read the story and then I think in this last uh, March Madness run, Carolyn Peck talked about when she got her net, she gave Dawn a piece and told her to hold on to it until she got hers. And so
Mm.
when she got hers, she was able to give Carolyn's back. Um, there was the group of black female journalists that followed Dawn in South Carolina and Notre Dame to Paris this year. There's so many things that are going on behind the scenes around this woman and her contribution to the game and what she's doing to help build the game
Mhm.
that just doesn't get enough coverage. Um, so this is like the beginning of our deep dive into Dawn Staley, and we will talk in depth about her on multiple shows.
Mhm.
Um, do you have a favorite Dawn Staley moment? Virginia, USA, Charlotte Sting, anywhere?
I think I would have to go with her reaction winning that first championship. That's going to have to be it for me, because it was almost like, if you go back and watch that, it was almost like kind of cliche. It's like all of the work that was put in.
That's this one we looking at on the back right here with Asia Wilson,
Yeah, I
right?
was finally rewarded, and she felt it. Like it was almost like one of the players. You don't see coaches a lot of times really getting in there and celebrating like that with their players. Like she felt it. I would say
She
for
gets in
right
all
now,
the
that's my
games.
moment.
She
Yeah.
gets in all the games like she's a player.
But
She
seeing
gets in all
her
the games.
sprint out, hugging players, and as dominant as they were, and it was still, what I like about Dawn Staley is that it's always classy. She settles for nothing less than there has to be class within her program, celebrations, as we jokingly laughed about when we're going to get to our freshman phenoms when Fuali was throwing up the gang
That wasn't
signs.
that wasn't Fuwali. That wasn't Fuwali. I
Oh,
forget
was
who
it
that was.
Fuali?
That wasn't Malaysia. That was somebody else. And
But
I
when
just
she,
saw something here where it says she has two streets named after her.
well, I thought it was one. She has two. Wow.
I got
So
something
one,
that
it
says
must
it
be one
says
in
she had.
it must be one in South Carolina then, because there's one in Philly.
We're gonna go. I'm gonna definitely find that out.
Wow, that you caught me off guard with that question. I'm gonna think of another moment, because I know there's some other ones. There's some Sting moments, I'm sure, that if I think about them, I'm like, oh wow, oh yeah, I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That stretch of road that leads to Colonial Life Arena is Dawn Staley Way. So
Wow.
yeah, two state, two streets.
Yeah, she's never going to the
Two
NBA.
states, two streets. Then to name the street and put. I mean, well, what else? I mean, she can. There's nothing else that they
Oh
can
no,
do.
no, not at all. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I agree.
unless they gonna make it like a Joe L. Reed Acadome and name it the Dawn Staley Acadome. Yeah, I threw
I,
you off
I
with that one. You don't remember the Joe L. Reed?
yes, I do. So here's my question. You know what? I think let me just check something real quick. I think I think we can predict when she's going to. Let's see. I'm trying to see.
She took
Okay.
Temple to 6 NCAA tournaments in 8 years.
Yes. I'm trying to look right now. How many rings does Pat Summit have?
Pat Sum got a lot of them things, man.
Let me see. She has
Candace,
she
Shamika.
has eight NCAA championships. Now, is that more than Oriama?
No, I think Gino
Oriama?
passed. I think Gino passed Pat.
Okay. So I think, and this is just following Don. I think we'll see her. Oh my goodness, he has 11.
Yeah, so
I think we'll see Dawn go. Dawn is a competitor. Dawn will go for that record. She will go for that record. She has one right now.
no, Don got two.
Two.
Asia got one.
Yeah.
Uh,
2017 and 2022. Right. So she's 9 away.
I don't know.
I didn't say she's gonna get it. I think she'll at least catch Pat Summit.
5 of those things and then put an NBA title on it. Hey, Gino, everybody put they because Gino's not going to the NBA.
But at the rate she's going right now, the
Gino's
program
not going
she's
to the NBA.
no, he's not. But the program she's building right now, the way with this team is, I've never jumped on a limb like this. This is going to sound very. I don't like using the C word because that could be offensive to those that have some issues. I think she might be able to get 4 in a row.
She could. I mean,
She might
listen,
get 4 in a row with this. She might get 4 in a row.
it depends on how you replace Pow Pow, because Pow Pow is a big part of the leadership, and Pow Pow's back next season. Um, Scary enough, scary. This is a scary thought. She could go undefeated
Right.
over the next couple seasons.
That's what I'm saying. And here's the thing. We're not even talking about the NIL yet.
Now,
Dawn Staley has established a talent pipeline.
if she goes undefeated a few times, and now we at 5 of these things, what am I still here for? I've been here 20 years. I bought y'all 4 of these things. And she could just be comfortable, and she might just like South Carolina. I think she had family from down there, so she could be comfortable there.
I think Dawn goes
she
to
should
the
go down
next.
to the country all the time.
I could see Dawn Staley going from legendary college coach to front office WNBA, part owner on something like that. I don't think she would touch coaching in the WNBA. I think she would go straight to where she can make the immediate impact and say, "Hey,
what
look."
if she could be the first coach of the Warriors team?
Well, I said WNBA. I think NBA. I think
No, I'm saying the Warriors, the new Warrior, the Golden State
yeah.
franchise, the new WNBA franchise.
Well, I mean, hey, if Steph and Aisha Curry take that private jet over there and personally recruit.
But I mean, like I said, she's making 20 M's. 20 M's. And they keep the Louis store open for her whenever she wants. You know, Coach stay clean on the sideline. Coach stay clean on the sideline. Louis, Gucci, Fendi, you name it, she's in it. Always clean on the sideline. Always clean on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
2-time National Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Most outstanding player in the 91 NCAA Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Richmond Rage, remember them? 2-time All-Star.
How about this one, Seth? Major school career record. She has a .759 winning percentage. .759 for my fellow math geeks and number crunchers. That's a real high percentage of winning. I mean, over a 24-year span.
3 gold medals. 23 seasons as a head coach.
23 seasons.
574 wins. 185 losses.
185 losses. With Temple, she was 172 and 80. With the stat I just looked at with South Carolina, she's 413 and 106.
And there's no question. There's no question she could coach at the WNBA level because she took Taurasi and Griner and those women and went and got a gold medal in 20.
You know what? I'm not trying to deify Dawn Staley. I can see Dawn Staley trying to get her own learning institution, and I'm serious. I could literally see her starting her own academy or something like that after collegiate basketball, because when you think about the foundations, the philanthropy, the many things she's doing in the community, she's big on providing. By the way, the Dawn Staley Foundation specializes in providing resources and tools to at-risk youth and parents that are struggling. So, I mean, not giving too much about what I do. I know, let's just say I know a lot about that particular area. It's very rare that you see a foundation that covers that much ground. Most of the time, a foundation only pinpoints one specific area. But to say at-risk youth and to assist the parents in those programs, that's saying a lot.
How does she have time? How does she have time?
Hmm.
Is the question. I mean, my goodness. But
I mean, traveling on the bus, plane, going to the next games is probably when she's authorizing or finalizing or giving whatever input she needs with her foundation. I'm sure she has a point person. I would love to interview them to find out what it's
what
like to
was
work for someone.
what was interesting is in listening to her talk, she was saying that she runs her program much like a business, and a lot of stuff is delegated, and she's just managing things,
Exactly.
checking in with
Exactly.
people.
Exactly.
Uh,
She's on the plane, she's on the bus, wherever they're traveling, and she's getting the information. She's saying, nope, nope, yes, yes. You know, that's what it is.
USA Today Woman of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Naismith Award winner.
Just a legacy. Just a legacy in basketball. She's a National High School Player of the Year. Um, ABL, WNBA, WNBA All Star, 3-time
Mm-hmm.
Olympic gold medalist.
Mm-hmm.
Temple, University of South Carolina, Team USA. I wonder if she'll keep coaching them. She's in the Hall of Fame. Um, Mentor. I love the way she still supports her players
I could see
after
her.
they're gone.
I can see her getting her own learning institution. I'm serious when I say that. Some type of major um, program that offers education and everything all in one.
Wow. She could do so many different things with this platform. I kind of hope that she stays in college basketball because young folks need her. But I understand if she moves up. But it's hard to leave 20 M's. That's all I'm gonna say. It's hard. It's hard to leave 20 M's.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Unless, it, like you said, it'll have to be the perfect situation. The Golden State team, I could see her taking on a brand new franchise to be the first. I could see that being something that may intrigue her to come in and say, okay, I'm the first coach of this new team, putting my stamp on it.
I think whatever it is that moves her from South Carolina, it's gonna have to be moving the needle on women's basketball so much that
Mm-hmm.
she can't say no. It's like that offer you can't refuse. It's
Right,
gonna have to move the needle um,
right, right,
way up
right, right. But again,
um,
I see
because
something.
she's had some great players come through there that she could have left with to go to the WNBA and
Mm-hmm.
continue coaching, right?
That's why I'm convinced if it's not on her individual legacy
Because
being built, it's going to be somewhere in the front office. I think either WNBA, she might do NBA too.
no doubt she could coach the Las Vegas Aces. She could have been the coach there where Becky's at.
But what about Dawn Staley as a GM? GM for not only a WNBA team, even an NBA team. Can you imagine that?
I would like to see her go ahead. She has all of these other accolades. Why not get a WNBA championship and an NBA championship? I don't know how much longer she wants to do this thing. But why not? Why
If
not?
she wins as we predict, okay, let's be realistic. Okay, I said 4 in a row. I know that was being very, let's say 3 out of 5. If she gets 3 out of 5, somebody is going to back up the Brinks truck, and it'll just be on her to say no. Somebody in the
Maybe in
NBA,
the NBA,
WNBA. That's what
in
I'm
the NBA,
saying.
but in the
One of them.
WNBA, nobody ain't got 20. Nobody, they don't have 20 M's to pay in the WNBA.
But that's the thing.
So
There's always has to be a first. There
the
always has to be a
WNBA,
first.
I don't know that it'll be 20 M's. The move to the WNBA would be really more about furthering that game.
Hey,
So maybe you win 4 in a row with Malaysia, and then you go with Malaysia wherever she's going because she's most likely going to be going to as a number one pick. We would hope, right? We hope she does 4 years and then is a number one pick going someplace, meaning that she's going someplace that needs work where they could all build together, right?
mhm.
Um, but
don't
the
think for
sky is the limit for
don't
Don.
think for 1 minute that Adam Silver is not paying attention to see what Dawn Staley is doing,
Now
and would
maybe
love.
Adam might have to put a WNBA franchise in South Carolina or
Mm-hmm.
in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
the Fuller, or
Mm-hmm. We got
because
to
it's in the,
understand it. It's beneficial for the league if Dawn Staley's in the NBA. Let's just call it what it is.
I don't know if there's a
But
way for her to do both of them,
no,
college and professional.
only if she has some type of front office job, which would allow her to do that. But that would have to be NBA.
Why?
Well, no, I'm sorry, the other way around. It would be WNBA because I'm thinking WNBA is played in the summer. She's typically recruiting and doing what she needs to do in the summer, so she could do both if that were the case. If it was WNBA, she could do both. But I think Adam Silver's paying attention, and he's ready to, he's
Well,
gonna see.
anybody that's paying attention to women's basketball, whether that's college or pro, you can't be in tune to what's going on and not hear her name ringing out and not see her fingerprints on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's definitely the one.